Hey guys, Tim here with the Long Hair Gardener, and today I am in my Philadelphia backyard growing zone 7B, and it is time to do a garden update. I try to do these about once a month, and it is time to do one in August. So there is a lot happening back here. Things are doing really well, and there are a couple things that are blooming right now that were not in the last video. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is blooming currently in my backyard. So I'm going to just start us off here with just a pan of what the garden looks like right now, because it, I believe, is looking so good. Not to toot my own horn, but things are going really nicely back here, and it's mostly because we've been getting a lot of rain and heat, which, let's be honest, that's the best combo for happy and healthy plants. So I cannot take all the credit for how good everything looks here. But let's start right here with these cannas. Absolutely huge. When I bought these, I think there was maybe 1 or 2 stalks, and now there's like 8 or 9. And they're blooming. They're blooming pretty regularly. I just knocked a flower off. But I couldn't be happier with these. I'm not going to go over every single plant because there are a lot. My lantanas, which are these right here, so let's just take a little walk over here. Hear an airplane going over right now, if you're wondering what the noises are. Lantana, and they're not doing so good with the blooming. I'm not sure what's going on there. Here is a bloom right here. This one seems to be doing the best. Just pull this down so you can see it. I love lantana. It does look very healthy, but I am having some trouble with it consistently blooming. They do, I believe, tend to like it on the drier side, so maybe they're actually getting too much rain. We've got a penta here, which is in bloom, and then this pink striped Pallida Tradescantia. This is so pretty. Look at the striping on this guy. And I'm just going to move down here. Got my upright alocasia, or elephant ear, doing quite well. This pot right here, let's come down so that you can see all of this, you know, wispy plant. This is Gara. Let's do a little close-up. I'm sure the camera's not focusing, but I think this pink goes very nicely with this bullseye salmon geranium. I will say this does not look very salmon to me. It's more pink, but that is okay. I do have lots of pink in my garden. So if you have been watching any of my other videos, you will know that I have this pineapple plant, which is humongous. I'm very excited about it because I grew this plant from a pineapple top. So I just cut the top of this, like example, this pineapple, cut this off, rooted it, grew it in a pot, and that's what we're looking at here. And now, after I believe like 4 years, it is producing its own pineapple, and it's getting pretty big. So I am excited about that. See if I can get down here. There are 2 more pineapple plants coming. I think you can see. So there's 2 more down here. So how exciting is that? I'm excited to actually eat this. We got a mangabi down here, some mint, looking a little wild. I could probably trim that back a little bit. This is my Mexican petunia, and it is finally blooming. Took a little while to do that, but it is looking fantastic. Huge fan of Tradescantias. I talk about them all the time. I have another variety down here. The window, we'll step back so you can see what's going on here. Yes, there is a window here. You can barely see it. I have these, you know, security bars on the window, and I always use them to plant a like climbing plant, because why not? It's like basically a built-in trellis. Anyway, I have not found the magic plant yet to grow here that produces a good flower. Let me put the camera up top here. Hopefully you were able to see it. So this is the brown-eyed Susan vine. It is not consistently blooming, which is a little sad. It does get intense sun, and on most days the vine is wilting, and I think maybe it's just too hot for too long for this plant, and maybe I don't fertilize it enough. I'm not sure. It's always we're always trying to figure out how to make these plants happy. Every year is different, and every plant is different. So this is the first year I am growing this one. The bees are bouncing up and down on the Gaura that I just showed you, and I keep seeing it out of the corner of my eyes. All right, so moving back, we have some petunias down here. Diamond Frost Euphorbia. Petunias are doing pretty good considering all of the rain. And down here, look how beautiful this lemon sedum coral is. Lemon sedum coral. It doesn't sounds like I got the words in the wrong order, but I think I got that right. Looks fantastic. And then in the middle here, the pineapple lily, which has not bloomed, although I did get this like sudden like new growth rate here. So I was hoping that was going to be, but that was going to produce a flower, but has not happened yet. This guy is doing okay. I can't remember the name of it, and now that I'm staring at it, I'm like, what are all these little specks? And I see, probably not going to be able to pick this up on the camera, that stem that's like orangish looking, those are actually aphids. A good sign that something is going on is if you see ants climbing all over the plant. There's more up here. So yes, I'm gonna need to come back in here and spray this plant. The ants love, I don't know what the word is, I'm gonna say babysit the aphids, because the aphids produce a sticky substance when they chew into the plant, and then the ants harvest that sticky substance. Right over here, these are the herbs. Basil looks great. I have some rosemary. A new plant this year that I got, and I got it on Etsy, which I wasn't sure if that was a good idea or not because it's so hot. This plant came from, I believe, Mississippi. It's hot there, and it was like in the 90s here, but this plant arrived and it looks completely healthy. Much smaller when I got it. It's been out here now for 3 weeks to maybe a month, but it looks fantastic. This is a Brugmansia, or Angel's Trumpet. This is the first time I'm growing this plant. I'm very excited. I don't know if it's going to bloom this year or not. I may need to try to overwinter this inside because it does not tolerate the cold. It does not grow will not live in this growing zone over the winter, is what I'm trying to say. Something to note about this plant is it is incredibly poisonous and toxic. So if you do look this plant up or decide to grow it, please don't do that if you have small children or even pets, because this is probably near the top of one of the more toxic plants that you could grow. So moving on from the Brugmansia, we have the wall. Let me step back. And this is looking so good this year. I have another one of these pink striped Tradescantias, the Mizu plant, some pentas. I do have, let me see if I can step up here without collapsing. I do have a grass up here, which is kind of getting buried by some of these other plants. Same thing with this little sedum. Here is the lantana we were talking about. I do have a papyrus plant up here, which is doing all right. And then we just have some repeats of the other plants right over here. And I see more ants. Do we have more aphids? That is the question. So I'm gonna have to investigate that. It's a good thing I'm doing this thorough search or look here at the plants. Dichondra silver falls, which always do so well for me on this wall. Beautiful cascading, and I think it looks fantastic there. Right over here, gonna mention all the rain we've got again. The chicks and hens, this happens every year. Some of them start to rot because they just do not like having all this rain. This petunia over here, also not a big fan of so much rain that we've been getting, and it's not looking good right now. I do need to come back in here and fertilize. These plants are doing fantastic. The foliage looks great. Mentioned already the lantana not blooming. The pentas back here are like off and on spotty with the blooming, but overall I think everything at least looks healthy. I have a bird of paradise here in the middle, which is kind of mixing in with the canna leaves that are right next to them, so it's a little hard to tell what is what. We have a brown-eyed Susan right here and a coneflower. Let's step back in here. So this is the banana tree for this year. It is doing great. I think I mentioned before in another video, when I first planted it, it had some brown spots on the leaves, and I was hoping that would continue as the plant matured, but they have kind of disappeared, and now I just have a green banana, which is okay. I would prefer some spots because I have a lot of green foliage going on over here. Up on the wall we have the amaryllis, which are growing outside for the summertime, and those of course will come in to bloom later on, probably in the spring. These plants are doing okay. There's not a lot of color over here. This is the first time I've really came back here to investigate recently, and I can tell that they are also getting a little too much rain. So this is a polka dot plant here. We have a garden Meister fuchsia, my caladiums. This is probably one of my favorite varieties right here, and then there's a begonia down here as well. The caladiums are doing really well. I stuck some in the ground this year, so we got some right here, and look at how beautiful this one is. They are sprinkled throughout. Stepping back here, I have my bromeliad. Of course, this is a house plant. Comes out for the summertime. More caladiums back here and some impatiens. Really need to fertilize my plants. I think I've noticed a decline in the blooming, and that's probably why. Really haven't had to water because of how much rain we've been getting, so that's why they're not getting fertilized. This is a house plant. This is an angel wing begonia. Let me step back here. We have a couple house plants out here. This one is doing really well. Let me just show you this guy. I will have to put the exact name, if I can find it, of this croton. This is one of my favorite plants. Oh yeah, what I really wanted to show you over here is my Rex begonia vine. Like, look at how huge this is. This can be grown inside as a house plant. It is a tropical. I'm sure you maybe can notice most of my plants are tropical, so none of these are really staying out here for the winter time. I have to bring them inside. So this is going to be fun, trying to bring this inside. But it's doing so well. And also my oxalis down here is doing very nicely. I love the contrast between this caladium, this green and this purple look really good together. Here we have more caladium and more coleus. This area looks very nice. Huge limbs here down here at my feet. So we are at the tail end of my crocosema. This is Lucifer. Let's see if I can spin it around so that you can see what the flowers look like. Very beautiful. But like I said, almost finished blooming. Let's step around here. So this is where we just were, back here, or underneath a tree. All of these plants have been shade. All of these over here, not under the tree. And then these right here in the front, these are all in the sun for most of the day. So these are sun-loving plants. But what I wanted to show you over here are the magic lilies. They are absolutely beautiful. They are sometimes called resurrection lilies. They just kind of pop out of the ground this time of year, early August. They are a late blooming lily, and I think they are a fantastic addition to the garden. Love how this one is kind of nestled in with the cleome, which is also blooming here. It's a similar color palette. We've got some geraniums down below here that they're trying to bloom, but I think they're getting a little shaded by the cleome. The ageratum are doing very nicely down here. They are getting a little speckled though. I'm not sure why we have speckles in the leaves. More of the Purple Heart. There's the striped version, my favorite. It's doing beautifully. We have a couple succulent type plants here. My ox tongue, which has bloomed one other time, and it looks like we're getting another one. There are many plants in here, so not surprised that we're getting multiple blooms. This guy here in the corner, hopefully I'm not pointing you into the sunlight. This is my hyacinth bean vine, which is going up this trellis and now finding its way up into the tree, which is what it did last year, and it was such a good look. So I'm glad that that is happening again. There are 2 vines in here. There's also clematis. So that's what is blooming right here. This is kind of late for this plant to be blooming, but I am happy that it is. We'll just come down here real quick. Okay, this is going to bloom again. Can you see it? Is this leaf in the way? So there is another bloom stalk coming here. I don't remember off the top of my head the name of this guy. This is a agave, and this is a type of sedum. I love the sedum down here. Let's come in for a closer look. It's just short and I just like touching it. I haven't, yeah, I did mention once. I have the upright elephant ear alocasias. They are everywhere. They're kind of, there's like a line of them through here, and there's even one over here on the other side. I love this plant. Helps to achieve that jungle look that I like to go for. There's another canna in bloom. So, speaking of elephant ears, this one is stunning. This is the first time I am growing this particular variety, and I love the color. This dark color, I think this is like Black Beauty. If it's not Black Beauty, I'll put the right name up on the screen, but stunning. And it looks great next to all of this like bright green foliage I have going on here. But this one is doing so well, and it's humongous. There are some begonias around the bottom here, more Tradescantia, and there is a coleus right here. In the tree we have these spheres. They are doing okay. I'm coming in here to see what's going on. These have been more challenging than I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to dry out constantly and that I would have to be watering these every day, but they actually hold the water way more than I thought. And a couple things have rotted. So this guy right here, this coleus, is, I'm touching the brown stems. It's basically not going to make it. And I think this impatient looks like it's also rotting. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, this has been a challenge. I do love the way it looks hanging in the tree. There's another big one back here. Do a little spin. There's my bromeliad. Do have a Rex begonia, also having some rotting problems. So maybe I just chose the wrong plants. I was anticipating it being dry, and it is not. Down also, as a side note, these are very heavy. If you've seen my other videos, these spheres are now in a different spot because the branch that they were originally hanging on broke off. So, you know, if you're buying something like this, keep in mind they are quite heavy when they are wet. Moving down, we have more Caladium viburnera back here, a little guy trying to hang on there. I always love this area. This is mostly shaded, so we've got some impatiens, Squeezed in some lemon coral sedum. There's creeping Jenny. It just always looks very full, and there's a nice variety of plants over here. I do love it. While we are crouched down, let's spin around and take a look at this. So this area is looking very healthy. I'm pretty happy with it. It doesn't have a lot of blooms, which is my only disappointment. I was hoping these impatiens would produce a little bit more flowers, but that's not happening. There's a spider plant down here kind of getting covered, but this frog in the blender caladium is beautiful. Same thing back here. I have a shrimp plant that produces these yellow flowers. I was hoping, there's a big one, I was hoping for more blooms back here to add some more color. I think if we had more of those yellow blooms and more blooms from the impatiens, I would be a little bit more satisfied with what's going on. My clivia, sorry, I'm just checking out the plants to see what's going on. I think that's just a new leaf on my clivia back here. But yeah, that is everything. I'm going to do one final just slow walk through here so you can see what everything looks like. I think it's looking fantastic. I love when I come back here. Hopefully I'm not pointing you in the sun a little bit. I love when I come around the corner here and just see how green and lush everything is. Like I said, it's been a really good year. Alright guys, that's everything for today. Thank you for joining me on this little garden update. Please leave any comments or any questions you have down below. Let me know what is your favorite plant and if you are growing any of these plants as well. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next garden video. Have a great day.